Welcome to Blueprint Boost for Contractors, the podcast that's your go-to source for unlocking the secrets to successful marketing, gaining valuable insights, and growing your contracting business with less stress. Your host is David Brooks, and he's thrilled to be your guide on this journey. As a seasoned expert in the contracting industry, David understands the challenges you face. That's why each episode is crafted to provide you with actionable strategies and proven blueprints to boost your business to new heights.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. I'm your host, David Brooks. We do have a guest with us for this episode, and I'll allow him to introduce himself.
How's it going, guys? My name is Tim Harrell, located in Temple, Texas. I own a company called Giddy Up Heating and Air. We've been a company for about 6 months now, and I come from a background of working with other residential and commercial HVAC companies. I grew up in East Texas, kind of outside of Canton, in that area there, and I moved to Waco in about 2004 to go to Baylor, as you can see here. And then I just kind of stuck around after that. So, but yeah, thank you, David, for having me on, sir.
Yeah, no problem. Glad to have you, and glad you're at that midway mark of on your journey. So it's good to see.
Thank you very much.
Mhm.
It's good to be seen.
No, I know you had mentioned going through a life-altering experience. Can you share, what that taught you to get you to this point where you're at today?
Yeah, absolutely, David. And that story goes back quite a ways. Whenever I graduated high school and got on to my own, I really wasn't a very good person, so to speak, David. I kind of got off the beaten path, or the path I should have been on. I started getting into things that I shouldn't have, and started to really seek after, I guess, nefarious things, and things that weren't very wholesome, that wasn't really uplifting. And so I just started going down that path, and that just led me into making very poor decisions. And eventually that got me to being in relationships that I shouldn't have been in. And I just, I had a couple of businesses here and there. I just wasn't, I was just trying to make ends meet. I didn't really have a purpose or a goal in life. I was just here. I was just existing, really. And that certain relationship was very, had a lot of turmoil. It was very traumatic. And eventually it started getting where it was abusive.
Mhm.
And so it started out with just the verbal, just the bashings, and just saying you're not good enough. You suck. I wish I didn't have you as a husband. I wish you weren't such a bunch of stuff that I couldn't say on the air. But anyways, that started leading to it getting physical. We were drinking, and just things weren't, well, yeah, we were just getting into a spot to where it was just back and forth, heated exchanges, arguments, and then getting to the physical stuff. And that ended up putting me into the hospital. And at that point, I woke up in the ICU. I was in there for about 2 weeks. I basically had to learn how to walk again. But whenever I woke up in the ER, I was just really upset. I was mad. I was mad at God, and saying, why didn't you just take me? Why didn't you just kill me? And for the past 20 years leading up to that, or I wouldn't say that long, maybe 10, 15 years, for the 10, 15 years leading up to that, I just wasn't living a good life. I grew up in the church and grew up with a very good household and stuff. But once I got onto my own, I didn't want any part of that. And so anyways, I was in the ER bed, and I was mad at God and just yelling at him. I was like, why didn't you just take me? Why didn't you just kill me? Like, I was mad for being alive, dude.
Mhm.
And it was that moment where I hear him say, I'm not done with you yet. And so that just put me into my place. And so for about a year, I had to move back in with my folks. I was just job hopping here and there, wasn't really doing much of anything. I wasn't even making ends meet, you know. So, but eventually, guy across the street from me walked over and said, "Hey, I could really use your help. I know you have some electrical experience, and so I need someone to come and help me out on these jobs doing rooftop replacements and stuff like that, working for a commercial HVAC company." And so I was like, "All right, sure, yeah, I can do that." And then they offered me all kinds of benefits and stuff, and so I got into it, and dude, that just completely changed my life. Finding the purpose, and finding stuff I enjoy doing electrical work, but like working on these rooftop units, these HVAC units, and pretty much I got into doing that, and that got me out of bed in the mornings, and then I started going to church again. But really, I went through a program called Celebrate Recovery, and it's essentially a Christian 12-step program. And through there, I found a new life in Jesus Christ. And from then on, I called my ex-wife. I told her I forgave her for everything that happened, and I asked for forgiveness for everything that I did. We got into a very good co-parenting relationship. And a matter of fact, I'm remarried. She's remarried, and now we have a very good co-parenting relationship where I get to see my kids all the time. I get to have them every day. And even my now wife, she stays here and sacrifices her career for being a stay-at-home homeschooling mom. And so if I didn't have that experience going through what I did with her and then finding Jesus Christ again, I would definitely, for one, wouldn't be here. And second of all, wouldn't have found HVAC. And so in 2019, I got laid off from that commercial job, found a residential HVAC job. And at that time, I thought I was going to go into ministry to help really get my story out there and help others that were going through the same thing. And just I knew that I had a second chance for a reason, and so I didn't want to waste that. And so I had this company call me up and gave me a shot and said, "Hey, we have a opening for a install assistant, pretty much, or install helper, and we would love for you to get into the ropes, get into the swing of things, get your feet wet in this, and then work your way up. And if this is a fit for you, great. And if not, no harm done." And so they did a working interview where I worked for a couple of days. I got to see how they did things and operate, and get to talk to people and stuff. And I was like, you know what? I really don't think that this would be a great opportunity for me because I really want to get into the ministry and stuff like that. And they said, "Well, you don't have to be in ministry to minister to people. You're seeing people every single day. You can use this as a time to really open up that door." And they were absolutely right. And so this was an opportunity where I got to serve people. I got to help them out and get them cool and have a time to like bond with them and stuff. And then whenever I finally got out on my own, got my own van, started running service calls on my own, and I got that first 5-star rating saying how great I was. Dude, that that spoke to my heart, man. My not to get all corny and stuff, but my love languages are words of affirmation. And so once I got that and I got that ego boost, dude, that was a feeling I couldn't stop chasing after. So it was going from that first 5-star review to that second one, and then eventually 105 stars, or on average down the road. I couldn't get enough of that. So I find so much more satisfaction in serving people, serving the community, and being actually able to help people either just with their HVAC stuff or just what they got around the house, or even just sitting there talking to them. uh, that's given me much more satisfaction than anything that I was chasing whenever I was in college. So that's how I was able to turn that situation into where I'm at now.
I love that story. Like just being able to have those lessons learned and to be able to change your course of life, your trajectory, being able to stumble into the trades and HVAC and pivot from commercial to residential, but finding purpose and being able to connect with people, right, on a human level.
Absolutely.
It's so important because you're not only there doing a service for them, but you're connecting with them if they have other problems or other issues, or they just may just want to talk, right? It's just like can be in the house and you can strike up a good conversation, and it feels good to be able to help and put that great experience out there for people, and it makes you feel good. Like you say, your love language is those words of affirmation. And many of the guys out there or girls, just getting that confirmation from someone that, look, you really took care of my situation. I really appreciate it. They were really personable. They really helped me out, even gave me some advice that didn't have anything to do with my HVAC system, right?
Absolutely, man.
And
You'd be surprised. I'm sorry.
no, right? Go ahead.
No, you'd be surprised at how much information that you get just from asking questions for one, or just sitting there just being quiet and letting them talk,
Mhm.
you know? And it is such a joy to know that you in your heart, you know that you helped and you know you did the right thing. And they're taking that opportunity as, well, no one else has really done this for me. Everyone else has just come in, fixed it, and left. But really, this guy really wanted to know exactly what was going on in my life, and not just with my system, but with like myself,
Mhm.
and allowing them to just allow them to pour out on you. You start peeling back layers, and you start getting to really know that person. You're really starting to connect on that personal level. And so you're not just there to fix something or to sell something. You're actually there to help. You know, Maya Angelou said, "People don't care. What is that? What was it? They don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care."
Mhm. Yep.
And then another one that's a big mantra of mine is, they don't remember what you did. They don't remember what you said. They remember how you made them feel.
Mhm.
And so that lasting impression, like, they can't wait to go online and give you a 5-star review. And most of the time, they just can't wait to get on there, give you a 1-star review, tell all their friends and family, hey, don't use this sucker. Like,
Mhm.
he was bad. He was terrible. Like, they remember how that made, or how you made them angry,
Mhm.
for one. And then, but to be on the opposite side of that, to where, man, he really cared about what I was trying to say or what I want in this, and he just went above and beyond, not only doing fixing my AC, but he even changed out the bulb in the closet.
Yep.
He even brought in the trash can. He even brought me up my newspaper. Those little things. So that those small things just go a long way.
Those small things are so often missed today, where everybody's in a rush, right? It's just rush, 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 and coming at you so fast, where sometimes you have to really take advantage of the opportunity to step back from a minute and just a little bit, right? Like you said, changing that bulb, just something simple as that just goes a long way with that human connection. And what do you think that customer is going to do besides leaving that 5-star review? Or they're going to tell their friends and family he's great. Like if you have a
Yeah,
situation, you have to use him.
that's right. Or they like get onto Nextdoor or to social media, and they can't wait to, like, if they see someone pop up, hey, who's the greatest guy in air conditioning around this parts, and or who should I call? And, oh yeah, I got an answer for that. They get that same amount of dopamine by answering those questions, being able to help them, as I do for getting that referral.
Mhm.
And so it goes hand to hand. There's a value exchange there.
There's a true value exchange there. There's so many different platforms that spread that out across. Like it's, really uh amazing to be able to have these different avenues. And people might say, "Hey, I heard about you from next door. I heard about you from a Facebook group, right?" That
Yeah.
was too. Mhm.
But no, that feels good, man. It feels good. And that feeling is better than what, like I said, I was chasing after when I was in college. Like being able to help others
Mhm.
and them feel so good about it, they can't wait to tell other people,
Mhm.
and to own that conversation there is the most rewarding part about this job.
Mhm. And that's great. That's great to be able to have. And then especially like in business, now your life didn't go as planned starting out, and you're on the really great path now. But in business, everything doesn't go as planned either. How do you pivot mentally and strategically to keep yourself going?
So, really, the winners out there are the ones that are able to reframe those bad situations, whether it be something that they control or something that's out of their control, like a bad employee or missing a job or ordering the wrong parts or the wrong equipment, stuff like that. Things that have catastrophic consequences, but they're able to take that and turn it around into something good, as to where, well, this guy cost me $10,000 on a mistake, but he's never going to make that same mistake again. Whereas if you fire them, you're going to set up for the next person to make that same $10,000 mistake, for one. But the best companies out there are the ones that can take those situations and work through it. You either go through it or you're going to grow through it. And so you're either going to come out on top, you're either going to endure that storm, just like the Buffalo do, like they face into the storm and head into it, and then eventually they come out of it much sooner than the cows that turn their backs to the storm and just wait it out. You know what I mean? So the ones that are able to reframe those um, situations where I'll even be transparent. There was one time whenever I went to go to a house, they have a pancake unit, and at the time I wasn't very familiar with them, and so I had tried to. Well, I had sold them a $12,000 piece of equipment to go into the attic rather than that bathroom, and they were all getting hung about it, and then uh, they just had something telling them that might not be right, so they called another company out. They came out there, like, well, this guy didn't know what he's talking about, because all you had was just a bad was the clogged up evaporator coil.
Mhm.
And it's like, man, I why didn't I look at that? I mean, at the time I didn't know how, but I called him up. It's like, look, I didn't mean anything. I didn't have any ill intentions. I just didn't go that much or that further in depth into looking at it. And so, even though that cost me a customer, for one, that cost me a job, second of all, and third of all, they'd left me a really bad review. And this wasn't my business now. This was whenever I was first starting out. And so my boss, he was pretty upset at me. But he also realized that I had all the best intentions. I just didn't have the knowledge to work with it. And so I spent the next couple of months learning all about pancake units. I didn't see them a whole lot, but they exist. They're out there. And so it just helped me as a technician to take that situation, reframe it, and to where I wouldn't have situations like that again, you know? So the ones that are able to just take that storm, run into it, and just endure the suck for a little bit, you're gonna be able to be a winner in the end of it.
Mhm. Yeah, that's really the mindset, the mentality that you want to have, and just weather the storm and learn from those lessons. And it's also great as a manager or a business owner, someone in the business to be able to allow someone to make a mistake. Oftentimes it's they made a mistake and let's write them off, right? And
Yeah.
it could be some really amazing people that can turn out from a mistake being made, but they didn't have enough time to learn from that mistake to move forward to make themselves better. It's just they're instantly written off, right?
Yeah. And that's a terrible feeling to be on that receiving end of it.
Mhm, mhm.
But like I said, that company is just setting the next person up for failure. You can't say, and then that also puts a red flag in the other technicians' heads, and they're saying, "Oh, well, I better not mess up either, because my head would be on the chopping block also."
Yep.
And so you have them on high alert. They're not trying. They're trying not to make a mistake, but they end up making more mistakes because they're overthinking it. So that's really twofold there.
And in business, you want to be able to foster a great atmosphere, mentality, and I've seen it where, you know, you have people working inside of the business that, they may mess up on something, they may scratch the truck, right? And it's like, oh, I gotta park the truck. I don't want anybody to see it.
Yeah,
I don't want anybody to know it's me that scratched it, and I'm just so nervous, and that makes them jittery and like they just and all they're thinking about is the mistakes and what's the consequences, and they lose sight of the performance and customer service and getting the job done and being efficient because they're so worried about these vast repercussions that may happen because they made a mistake.
absolutely. We're all human. We all make mistakes.
Yeah, we're all human. Nobody's here is perfect. And lessons learned from mistakes, you just sharpen your toolkit, right? You get better as time goes on. It's like in a reference I like to use, it's like fine wine. It's you don't get fine wine overnight, like right? It has to sit, it has to settle, you have to leave it there for a while for it to be able to get to its proper state for the maximum taste and smell and aroma. All these different things go into it. It's like aged bourbon. So just with time, right? Time, seasonality is going to be able to make that tech better.
Absolutely, man. And I'm going to piggyback off of your analogy and say, well, if you're wanting to run a marathon and you go up to mile 5 and you trip up, you don't go back to the starting line. You get up and you keep going. You know what I mean? You can't just keep going back to the starting line, back to the starting line, and keep going back, after you trip up and stuff. The best ones are going ones that are going to get up, learn from their mistakes, or just brush it off and keep on going. They're going to finally get to the finish line. You don't just you can get up to mile 5 and realize, oh man, I've been going the wrong route. I need to take this route instead. So that's different. The way that you reframe it is is very important and it matters. But you can't make a mistake, or you can't, even if it's stuff that's out of your control, to allow you to have to cut your ties, cut your losses, and go back to square one or go back to the starting line. You're never going to finish, or you're going to run a lot more than what other people are doing.
Mhm. I totally agree. I totally agree. And pivoting from that, now that you're out on your own, you have months underneath your belt. How have you approached networking to build your client base and reputation?
It's honestly, man, it's I do it the old school way.
Mhm.
It's one person at a time. I want to focus on one person, give them the most outstanding experience that they can absolutely have. And so that way, that one person will turn into two people, and that two people will turn into four people. Just focusing on one person at a time, that one call at a time, one system at a time, and eventually you're going to get there. Those bricks, they add up, they stack on top of each other. And so what I've been doing is I've been focusing, because whenever I started my business here, um, I started with $0. I'm very I'm not very great at managing money for one, but I'm even worse at saving up my money. So this has been a complete different experience where I had to start from scratch and going to um, reading books and stuff. But mainly it's just been having a great team member with my wife. She's been outstanding. She's a pretty much a bookkeeper, and so she's much better with numbers and balancing checkbooks and stuff like that than I have. And so having someone like that in your uh, on your back, that makes a huge difference. And someone that's or in your corner, I mean, not on your back. She does get on my back, but still. Um, but having someone like that in your corner and having a team, even if you're just starting out and you don't, you're not lucky enough to have a wife that is a bookkeeper, but you know, finding people that are good with money or people that are good where you're weak at, um, that's very important to have, whether that be with friends, or just like you said, networking with people, reaching out to the others that are in your area that are good at stuff like that and are willing to work with you, are willing to offer advice. But what I did was whenever I started the company up, I texted every single person that I knew that lived in the area, whether that had been people I went to college with or former um, people I did business with, or even old customers. I told absolutely every person that I knew, and then I would focus on what I could do for free. So I got my name out there on social media. Anytime someone would bring up HVAC work or needing help, I was the first person to respond, and even doing stuff for free, just to get my name out there. Just to say, hey, if I come out and do this for free, and it's usually stuff that wouldn't cost very much, like a cleaning. That's what I focused on whenever I first started out, just working on the maintenances, just doing things for free, doing a lot of the cleaning stuff like that. Um, but I had enough money to buy door hangers, and so I went on to um, uh, oh, what's that place called? Anyways, I went online and I got a whole bunch of, I got 500 door hangers. And so the next day I went out, put door hangers on all the neighbors' doors, went to the next couple of neighborhoods, put all of them up, and slowly but surely it's like popcorn. Get a call here, get a call there. Um, and that just kind of slowly but surely had like this slow ripple effect. But it was people that would get onto the next door for you and say, hey, I called Tim and he was great. And uh, you should call him too. And he did this for me. He did that for me. He didn't charge me an arm and a leg like the other people did, but he found things that the other people missed and this, and that, and the other and stuff like that. Those testimonials went very far. And so once your name gets out there where people are making the spark, that is attractive to other people that want to be a part of that and say, hey, I do business insurance. I would love to talk to you. I love the traction you're getting. I love the way that people think about you. I want to be a part of it too. I want to help out, so that opens up doors to those kinds of networks. So not only are you getting um, business referrals, but you're also getting the types of people that are willing to work with you and build up um, that firm foundation that you want to grow on. So when I was part of B&I for a while, but not with this company, but really, and not to bash anyone that does do this, but it wasn't as organic as having the people speak out for you, be there, pretty much be an ambassador for you, and get your name out there organically. And that attracted the right kind of people to want to, that were in the same, they're doing the same types of business or the way that they're wanting to help others. You know what I mean? So um, that's infectious, and people want, or contagious, I guess. And infection wouldn't be the right word to use, but it's contagious when people see people helping others. Then they want to be a part of that too. They just want to see people that are bold enough to take that kind of steps. and they eventually want to get on with it too.
There's nothing like, having building relationships organically and having people be, rooting for you, right? Putting you out there, giving you the recommendation was the stamp, the seal of approval. Being able to have friends and family and ones that have come across just really good experience with you, speak up in your behalf, and uh, your that speaks for itself, and you can't duplicate that organically.
Absolutely, man. Another thing I want to mention too is um, I also reached out to other HVAC contractors in the area whenever I was having issues or whenever I couldn't figure out something or I just need an extra set of hands. Um, I reached out to people to see who I could, for one, who I could trust,
Mhm.
and two, who else was doing the type of work that I'm doing, like the same way, the same service, or having that same heart or of servitude, and so you build that kind of network organically as well. You find out who the jerks are, the ones who you want to avoid, the ones who you want to just crush, and the ones that you want to have on your side. Someone that is going to help out whenever things kind of go astray or you can't figure something out. Someone that you, for one, look up to, see where they are and where you want to be, and then offer ways to um, have that same value exchange with them, whether that's paying them for their time to come out and help you out, or say, hey, I would love to come out and give you my help, whenever you need a install done or whatnot. But also having ways that'll bring value to them as well. And so being able to reach out to other contractors, the ones that I saw were kind of the direction I want to start head, uh, have an opportunity to pick their brain and what they started out with, see where they were coming from and how they got on their feet and get to where they are, whether it's here in this market or up in Dallas, Fort Worth, or in Austin, or people nationwide. I just built a network of people, whether it's on my social media, um, or just organically, just knowing people around here. I find that very important as well, to see someone that's up where you want to be and having a way to get yourself up there, but not to where you're just riding on their coattails, but also kind of emulating the same ways that they did to, and it might not even be HVAC. It could be uh, computer science or whatever, or retail, um, reading books on people that, like Sam Walton, um, stuff like that. So I also highly recommend the people that you look up to as far as a CEO, entrepreneur, read their story, read how they got started with. So that's the other device that I have for people.
And that's so important, like having that group, having that community, right? The ones that you can trust and you can bounce ideas off of and be able to help you along the way because they're either they have went through the journey before, and you're trying to get to where they're at, or whether you get that information and knowledge from them, and then at some point in your life cycle, you get to that point, and then you're helping you. You're looking
That's
back at
right.
you're helping someone that's, oh man, you remind me of myself when I was starting out, and
That's right,
you
man.
will take that person under your wing, and that feels great.
Yeah, rising tide raises all ships, man.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's overlooked of being able to have that collective community together, because there's room for everybody. And if you do right by other people, imagine how uh better everyone would be, not just in business, but in just family life and personally too as well.
Absolutely, man. And it kind of the same goes for nowadays. The trend is people selling out to the private equity firms, and you're basically getting a big box store for these bigger HVAC companies, and money's just being poured in, and um, but they're also essentially chasing after the dollar, and that's what their ultimate bottom line goal is. And so really that the only way to be able to one compete with that um, is to give the services that the mom and pop shops can only provide.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So um, they can either underbid me or offer so many more products than what I can do, but they're not going to beat me on my service.
Mhm.
I'm going to answer the phone whenever they call, and I'm going to answer a text whenever they call, whether it be day or night, you know. And whenever I'm there, I'm going to answer all their questions. I'm going to be truthful with them too. I'm going to tell them what they need, what they maybe not need, but I'm not going to just shove stuff down their throats if they can't afford it, if it doesn't make sense, or they just don't want it, you know. So um, giving value is the ultimate way of providing that. And I think that is the most overused term, but it's also the most underrated way of doing it. So you can either look at it as the most overused way of being able to charge people an arm and a leg and just kind of screw them over, or you can look at it as providing enough value where they know they're not being sold. They know that you genuinely care enough to help them out, and these certain products are going to be what they really need, and it makes sense for them. You know, whether that be a UV light or a surge protector or uh, these other things that other companies try to just overcharge you for and just throw it in your face and feel like they're pressuring you, whereas you can actually relate to them. It's like, hey, you've had these issues, these electrical issues before in the past that you're telling me. I've seen the effects. I've seen where this wire was blowing up before. You know, I'd really think that you would benefit from having this surge protector. It'd really go a long ways for you. Whereas you're just sitting there in front of them, hey, you need all these products. This is going to get you to where, you know, this is going to be the best way for it, you know? So in the age where like the private equity stuff is the way to go and there's hardly any way to compete with them, whether it's in the marketing, the only way that you can really compete and get to them is through the soft underbelly of service.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Service quality stands out in a competitive market. Personal relationships, being able to make the customer, have a great experience, and also answering the phone, right? There's guys out there girls out there that their phone rings and they don't get back to someone, or they're just so busy and they have a lot of business going on. It's customers trying to call with their issue, and it's 50 million things going on in the background. The customers
Yeah,
able to relay that information of the help that they need.
absolutely. I know if I call somebody and I leave a voicemail and they don't call me back that day, oh, there you go.
Oh, here we go. Had
For
a
a minute.
had a slight delay, but it's okay. But on an ending note, what's next for the business, the goals for the next 3 years?
Well, kind of what I've been saying. I'm just not just playing it by ear, but I have a vision of where I want to take this. I want to do things right and just building the right way, putting the bricks where I want them, putting the right bricks in place. Um, honest, I started this up about 5 or 6 months ago, and like I said, I started with $0, and now I have 20 customers that are on my monthly membership plan. I call it the winner circle, and so I don't that network for. Um, but I have a van in mind. I see that. Um, I see there's like this fleet service vehicle sales, whatever it is, nearby, and I drive by all the time. It's like I want to buy that van here soon.
Mhm.
So I have that in my head. I'm trying to think about manifest or whatever, but having that vision of I want vans that look a certain way,
Mhm.
that each service is done a certain way, but not get so ahead of myself where I lose the ability to be able to copy that each time or replicate that each time. And so I'm just slowly but surely getting myself up to that point. And there's even been private equity firms reach out to me and say, hey, well, I want to partner up, or even these private, not even just like a home service people, but like private people that say, hey, I want to invest in this. I like where you're going. I want to be a part of this. And like, man, really, I want to do things my way and do things the right way that I know how, that I've seen work properly. So next 3 years, I see myself with at least two vans, maybe one box truck to do the installs with, um, and just have a nice close knit group of guys or uh, team members to be able to do things the right way each time. And they take pride in what they do. They take pride in the service of, of and serving people, the ones that have the right heart in it, not just wanting to go out there and sell. And then, or also on the other side of that, not just go out there and just fix it and be done and move on. We want people that want to have that connection with their customers and feel like it's part of a family that we're doing this with. So one thing I want to keep on doing is whenever whenever I see a need for help and others, like last year we had a huge tornado blow through Temple and it devastated a lot of it. Um, People had trees fall on their houses, and they didn't have a way to get it done. And so I offered help. Like I offered to go out there and like, hey, I can help move some trash around. I can help pull some trees out of there. You know, I have a saw and I can get someone with a chainsaw, you know, and just being able to help others doing that. So I want to be able to do more of that. And so that's really where I see myself in the next 3 years, and being able to do that more, being able to serve more, but just have a good net of a team that's able to do that as well.
That's amazing. That's great. I love those goals. I love those plans. Tim, we're rooting for you. We want to see you move along in that journey
Yeah, man.
and being able to do it your way, like you said.
Absolutely. And I know if I do those things right, the money's going to come. And then I know it's easy for me to sit here and say, oh, well, this year I did, you know, $80,000 worth of sales. In the next 3 years, I want to be making 500,000. You know, I don't see it that way. I mean, yeah, we need to be profitable and the business does need to be making a profit in order to succeed, you know. But I feel like if I'm doing the things the right way and I'm charging people the way that is going to be competitive and also what I feel like is the right value for it, people are going to want to pay for that, you know, and so the money is going to come. And so I do have dollar amounts in mind that I want to get to, or have those big audacious goals that I want to get to, but doing it the right way is the only way that I know how to do.
Well, gotta build it right. It's built is built up from the ground your way. And moving along in that journey, it will be able you'll have that satisfaction knowing that you didn't rush it. You like you said, you still want to be you're going to be profitable, but you're going to have that right mentality of attacking things and doing quality work and getting quality guys in there too as well.
Absolutely, David. That's right.
Mhm. Well, Tim, it's been a blast. If someone wants to reach out to you, where can they find you at?
They can. I'm not so hard to find, man. If you look up on Facebook, Tim Harrell, or Giddy Up Heating and Air in Temple, Texas, I have very, uh, I'm very I put out a lot of content, sort of say, so I'm pretty easy to find. So they search for Giddy Up Heating and Air. I'm not too far behind.
All right, excellent, perfect. Everybody, make sure you go check Tim out. Thanks for listening to this episode and tune into the next one. Until next time.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Blueprint Boost for Contractors. We hope you found today's insights and strategies valuable for your contracting business. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and please leave us a review. Your feedback helps us bring content that truly matters.